I have always advocated, particularly my women teammates, to be more assertive. So drop the just in your statement. Don't apologize. Sorry. Sorry for what, babes? You ain't do nothing wrong. Instead, say thanks for flagging that, or just stand in your truth. If there's no reason to apologize for something, don't. Hey, I'm Brianna Régine, an award-winning brand growth strategist for entrepreneurs and decision makers who feel stuck and are ready to get strategic about reaching their next level. But let's be clear. In this podcast, we ditch the highlight reel and get into the raw, real stories of what it takes to build a brand from the people making it happen. No more perfect perceptions of success, no more unrealistic expectations, no more feeling powerless. This is your go-to space for the real deal Holyfield about business growth, full of obstacles, funny stories, real talk, self-reflections, hot takes on current events, and must-have tips. If you've got a fresh idea brewing, you're a sucker for new strategies and insights, or you need to be reminded of how freaking dope you are, this podcast is for you. Let's get into it. Hey now, you bet your bottom dollar you are back for another episode of the Brand Unveiled with your girl, Brianna Régine. And today we are going to talk about one of the things as to why, you guys, listen, if I'm going to keep it real with you guys, today has drained me. And it's still not done, okay? This is the second episode I am filming today. And then after that, I have to give myself some nourishment and check things off my to-do list. It comes with the territory, right? You say you want to be a business owner. You say you want to be a CEO. This is the real deal of what is required. Anywho, focus, intention. That's the vibes that this episode is giving. Yeah, because it changes everything, right? Like, think about it. When you are compelled to fulfill a purpose or to get work done, to get something done, it is required of you to understand the playing field, to understand what's going to make your success be as successful as it can be for the top successes of known successes. You know what I mean? But in all seriousness, jumping into the pop culture and cultural events segment of this episode, I really want to exemplify what I mean when I'm talking about focus and intention and the ability to make final decisions in order to have the best and most valuable outcome. And also in order to make final decisions, folks should actually understand the work that's in front of them and the playing field. You know what I mean? Like, give a damn enough to make sure that the work that you're doing is actually providing the most value that it possibly should. Doesn't that seem like a no-brainer? Well, not according to the Oscars. Follow me. Starting with the 2026 Oscars, Academy voters must actually watch all nominated films in a category before they can vote for the winner in that category. Okay? The goal is to curb, quote, coattail voting, quote, and ensure winners are chosen by people who are truly familiar with the work, which strengthens the fairness and credibility in Hollywood's most prestigious awards night. I do not pay attention to the awards stuff as much as I did as a child. Like, I get the newsletters, I get the recaps, I get the sound bites from TikTok. You know what I mean? And if anything, I was definitely a music award girly above all of the stuff happening during award season. However, I made a vow to myself that in my retirement, I will actually go ahead and watch the films that are Oscar award winning. Same thing with like Emmys and all of the things, right? Because I tend to watch the same stuff over and over again. It takes me forever to watch shows sometimes. Like, it's very rare I'm watching a show while it's actively on and being able to commentate along with everybody else. But you mean to tell me that there are selections on that list that weren't watched by the voting members and they still won the award? What is the truth? What are we doing? How can this be? Is the popularity contest? Is that what you're saying? I mean, call me naive. I know that plays a part in it. I get it. Politics. I understand. but it wasn't ever a requirement for these fools to watch the films that they're actually voting for to win the category. Are we ill? Are we okay? Tell me how that makes sense. I just don't get it. It's like coming up with your own problem so that way you can come up with your own solution. Huh? It's very much like working with a client or a customer and you presenting a solution without you asking what their problem is. It's very much going into a lovely piece of land or an area and being like, you know what, they need this. It's giving savior. It's giving colonization. It's giving, you didn't really assess the data before you made the decision. You went with what you wanted to do. That is the catalyst for why the human species is flawed now. I don't like it. But better late than never, I guess. Anyways, I'm approaching my 9th year in business. I know. By the time this episode drops, actually, I would have already turned 9. Wow. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me, obviously. Happy birthday. Wow, happy birthday to us. We really did it. 9? Wow, we about to be out here for a decade. Gang, gang. But as I am actively reflecting on what it means to be in business 9 years, not arguably, still a young business, still have so much more to do, but equally grateful for even making it this far. The one thing that has stuck out to me as far as preparing for this episode that I am able to articulate as far as my aha moment in business as of late is getting rid of what doesn't serve you is effective as hell. Like, not only personally, but for sure in business. I have leaned on this mindset and I've articulated it in different ways. I've called it the rip the band-aid effect. I have spoken a little bit about it on like 1 or 2 TikTok videos as well. But it really is effective once you not only conceptually understand what it means to get rid of what doesn't serve you, but you actually implement it. It does wonders. I feel like I'm able to make quicker decisions and therefore get quote unquote quicker results. I feel like I have freed up bandwidth to focus on other tasks, which, hello, Lord knows I need a little bit more of that. And it, more importantly, forces me to flex my confidence muscle in my decision making and in being more of an assertive CEO and businesswoman. All of my years of being a CEO and having interns and entry level talent and even mid-level talent too, a part of my company, I facilitate my leadership through mentorship, but also more, not how I say it goes, because I don't run my ship like that, even though I am the boss, but it's a hybrid of I'm going to share with you information that I wish I had, but also can be transferable beyond you being here, as well as, I need you to do your job, right? So it's definitely a balance for me. And I have always advocated, particularly my women teammates, to be more assertive. So drop the just in your statement. Don't apologize. Sorry for what, babes? You ain't do nothing wrong. Instead, say thanks for flagging that, or just stand in your truth. If there's no reason to apologize for something, don't. If there's no reason to say, I just wanted, or I only wanted, girl, drop it. I recall, I did, I saw, I wanted. Just drop the fluff. Drop the fluff and be assertive in how you position yourself and how you advocate for yourself. Ever since I had interns and ever since that resonated with me, I think I probably heard it from some soundbite. If I had to guess, in year 1, year 2 of my business, I have been practicing it ever since. And I was just passing it along. I was just, you see that? Terrible. I've been passing it along to every teammate, particularly my women teammates, so that they too can become more confident in their skills and also just who they are as a woman. Like, own it, own it. There's nothing wrong with being assertive. One of the things that I've been writing in my devotionals in the morning is that I am not a bad person. I am not wrong if I articulate what it is that I need, if I change my mind, if I state something more bluntly instead of cushioning it, because I can be very diplomatic and that's my lens for life is diplomacy. I'm a Libra. What can I say? It's just how we operate. But I've been challenging myself to practice more of what it is that I preach in every aspect, business wise, of course, when it comes to writing my emails, pitching myself in meetings, negotiating, all of those things, giving feedback to my teammates, navigating obstacles with clients. Ooh, child, ASMR. I've been, those are my nails hitting the mic. I have been actively practicing that professionally, but also personally too. Owning my emotions. Like, if I'm gonna cry, bitch, I'm crying, right? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm crying. Because as I get older, I am becoming more visible with my emotions, articulating what it is that I need and what I want when it comes to dating. Okay? Because what? You have got to do that. So it's really important to get rid of what doesn't serve you, because you will be so much better off for doing that. You'll get better results from doing it. So hopefully that helps. If it does, please let me know. In fact, if you have an example of how you have recently gotten rid of something that no longer serves you, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm interested. The On the Mic Consulting segment is brought to you by the BRVC company. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Not the mic popping out. That is the devil, not a blooper. You see that? They don't want me to be great. They don't want me to be great. The On the Mic segment is brought to you by the BRVC company, your growth and transformation partner. We work with purpose-led founders, funders, and organizations and help them improve their structures, systems, and storytelling. How do we do that, you say? Well, we take them from stuck to strategic, and we do implementation too. Oh, so it's a little bit of consulting that we're able to get to you. It's a little bit of workshopping that we're able to get to you. And if you're feeling a little froggy and you really want to dance with us on the dance floor for a really long time, we can also do done for you work completely, end to end, taking things off of your plate so that you can appreciate and do other things today. Love it. So if you need branding, marketing, communication, or operation services, you already know where to go. On the Mic Consulting. I done dropped my card, child. The devil's a liar. Okay, so this one is brought to us by a post on Reddit. And like I said before, if you have a question that you would like me to consult on the mic, please email info@thebrvc.co. Dear Potential 3477 says, why is it so hard to find legit resources on how to start a small business? Want to learn to code? Go to Free Code YouTube channel and watch a 15-hour tutorial made by specialists for free with free resources in the description. Want to open a small business? Here is 178 recommended videos of people doing the YouTube thumbnail, gaping mouth face, and a 7-minute ad for a course disguised as a tutorial video. Our only options either seem to be those videos or a book written in 1978 by a professor who never started a business in their life. Now, I think there's validity in this post, and it actually relates to a sentiment I said in the last episode at the end, where I mentioned I want the Brand Unveiled podcast to be a place where entrepreneurs and business owners, decision makers as well, they feel confident they are going to get an answer as far as guidance and as far as demystifying what is on Google, what is on TikTok. It can be so frustrating when you're looking for something specific and you feel like you're not able to find it because you feel like nothing is talking your language or it's not laid out for you in a way that you can understand. And so I'm going to share my response to this post, but please, y'all, if you have any question, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I want to hear them. Make sure you hit us up. in the email below, which is info@briannarégine.com, which I might have said info@thebrvc.co. Either way, we'll get it. But info@briannarégine.com is the one that is preferred. Okay, so number one, and I approached this feedback thinking about what I did when I started the BRVC company 9 years ago. Number one, to starting a business, get clear on what you want to do and why you want to do it. So for me, I wanted to create the BRVC company, formerly Brianna Régine Visionary Consulting, because I knew that from my years of experience, I like helping people. That really was it at the very beginning. Like, I like helping people, I like solving problems, I like figuring out the puzzle on the back end. Now, after doing this for some time, I have refined that why to be, I like helping those that are underserved, the underdog, the underrepresented, and positioning them so that way they know how to tell their brand story. They know how to engage with their target audience better. They can actually build systems that sustain their growth, right? Et cetera, et cetera. But that why is crucial, because then number two, I did research and an audit of sorts of how I would do it. So notice the distinct difference there. My why isn't rooted in the services that I'm providing. It's rooted in my passion. It's rooted in sort of the ambiguity of helping others. The research and the audit discovered the how I was going to do that. So I analyzed my existing skills. At that point of starting the company, I had worked every kind of job you could think of. I was in the startup space. I taught dance. I was a marketing administrative teacher. I worked for a blog. I worked in retail. I did corporate a little bit. I worked for another PR company. And then I eventually worked for the PR company that was like the last, I guess, official job that I had for a very long time. And I realized the commonality between all of those different opportunities was me providing solutions to these big goals, quote unquote, these initiatives that folks wanted to make a possibility, but they weren't sure how to go about it. And that was my sweet spot, figuring out how to make things happen. And also too, after assessing my zone of genius and the skills that I already had. So I already had branding, marketing, communications experience, operation experience before I even attached my skills to those categories, if you can say. I also took a look at what other people were doing. I did a competitive analysis. So it took me a minute, I remember, to say that I did branding, marketing, and communications, because I wanted to make sure that I was identifying my skill set, my how, accurately in a way that would show up in SEO, and my potential customers, they will be able to find me. And also, like, when I'm navigating different rooms and I'm pitching myself, it's tracking, it's making sense, right? So that audit and that how will be essential. So why, how, and then three, this is going to sound mystical, but it is essential. Flexing your confidence muscle. Entrepreneurship is all about uncertainty. And the question that you pose, there's uncertainty in it. Like, you want to start a business, but the uncertainty comes from you wondering exactly how to do that. And throughout my entrepreneurship journey and being a CEO, it's always so nice. Like, it's always so nice to feel like you got the aha, like that's the answer I was looking for. But I don't know, aside from things that are very predictable, like you said, coding as a prime example, right? Like, you learn a format and it's applicable across the board and the outcome is relatively the same every time. Entrepreneurship isn't like that. Like, even if you are building a coding business, sure, there's going to be some repeatable processes and things that cause a level of uncertainty, but you as the business owner, like the decisions that you make about your finances, or whether or not you should change your market proposition, or if you should change your name, or if you should hit up these conferences and go to these speaking engagements because you're guaranteed to get, conversions. Like, no, those are things that you have to take a bet on. And entrepreneurship is all about betting on yourself. It's hard work, it's faith, and delusion. That's the recipe for success when it comes to starting a business, and most certainly sustaining a business. And you're not going to know until you know. And so the confidence piece is essential. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you have to be confident enough in the decisions that you are able to make, and also be confident enough in your ability to pivot and change your mind or do something differently, and know that you'll land on your feet either way. Tip number 4, I got serious with the operations side of my business. So this is something I Googled as well. I did a lot of research to make sure that I was spending whatever little money that I had from working my retail job still at the time before I completely went full-time in entrepreneurship, to make sure that I was using it effectively. And after doing my due diligence, I really just focused my costs on an LLC, which I filed myself. And I took initiative to make sure that I was filing correctly. I remember calling the state of Connecticut and speaking with someone and making sure that I was going about doing the right steps before I filled out the form and I submitted my check and all the things. And then I created a website because I was like, I have all these services. What's the best way to present my work? And now you even have Canva. Like, Canva, the free option, I think, has the ability to create a website. So you don't even have to come off and pay anything when it comes to like Wix or Square. And I think the URL, maybe you can manipulate. And even if you can't, it just looks better, in my opinion, than like a www.wix. You know what I mean? So either way, there are so many cost-effective options out there that could operationally put you in a good spot when it comes to starting your business and getting the traffic, but also just having the assets readily available to put yourself out there. So yeah, LLC, website, upfront costs. I didn't have a lot because I'm a service-based business, so that helped me. If you are thinking about a product-based business, it's going to look a little bit different. The operations list, the checklist, and sort of like what's the bare minimum is going to look different from running a service-based business, but it is something that you should consider just generally getting serious with your operations. I, in my due diligence, did look up, a lawyer and an accountant and what kind of industries those are like required out the gate for, and which ones could be a little bit more, not lackadaisical, but I came to the conclusion that since I was going after small businesses and sort of solopreneurs at first for my clientele, that having a lawyer outright wasn't something that I needed to invest in. I also didn't have the money to do that. Same thing with an accountant. But that doesn't mean that I completely forgot about it. Like, in my due diligence, I made note of, what kind of clauses I should have in my contracts. I did due diligence specifically around contracts, around what my bookkeeping should look like. As soon as I could, did join Wave. So that's a bookkeeping platform. And I have, the free version. And I made sure that all my expenses and my P&L, all of that is in an accounting system at the bare minimum. So it's easier for me to do my taxes, and it's easier for me to open a business bank account and to communicate what it is that's going on with my cash flow. You know what I mean? Like, there are just some bare minimum things operationally that I would advise anyone who's considering starting a business to think about. But after doing your due diligence, you will be able to decide like which comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? And again, that relates also to the confidence piece too. Like, don't be overconfident that you are silly. And if you do research and you find in your industry, like having a lawyer out the gate is going to be key, or having an accountant out the gate is going to be key, you should account for that in your upfront costs. But if you have some leeway and you are committed to being organized and documenting all of your stuff and having it all in its right place, you will be fine. You will be fine. And then number 5, I planned and then I executed. And the plan is only meant to guide you. It is not the end all be all. And I also made it a point to go back and check the progress of that plan. I highly advise folks to use the SMART strategy. So S for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable or achievable, R for relevant or realistic, and then T for timely. That way, you can properly analyze if you reached the goal, or if you didn't, how close were you to making the goal successful, and what can you change next time? Because it's very easy to say, I want to start a business and I want to make X amount of dollars and I want to have X amount of customers, but the SMART strategy will ground and center that goal into a plan that is realistic. So that way you can execute it after taking a look at your realistic bandwidth and your resources and things of that nature. So if that was helpful to you, please leave a comment. Let me know. If you have a follow-up question, let me know, or you can email info@briannarégine.com. All right, y'all. Well, that is another episode of the Brand Unveiled podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. If there is a topic that you would like me to touch on, whether it be pop culture, whether it is an aha moment that you've had within your business that you'd like me to speak about, or it is a submission for On the Mic Consulting, please reach out to info@briannarégine.com. You can also tag us on social media at the Brand Unveiled, and you can also leave a comment. We appreciate all the engagement. We want some more. We want this to be a safe space where entrepreneurs, business owners, and decision makers can not only be entertained by all the things that come with entrepreneurship, because it's not just business, it is very much a personal endeavor, but you also are able to feel like you are a part of a community that is building along with you, because that's what we're doing, and we're pulling back the layers of what that actually entails. So I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Bye.